What's going on, everybody? Fall in, add attention. You are locked into another episode of the Husker Army podcast, brought to you by Hurrdat Sports Network and the folks over at the Real Husker Army Facebook 2024 fan page. Go check them out. Become a member. It's a great group of people. I am your host, Bryan Knutzen. With me, as always, former Husker wide receiver Kenny Cheatham, a.k.a. KC. We've got our recruiting guru with us today, Matt Sass, a.k.a. Husker 15. And our guest today, everybody, host of one of the most popular Husker channels on YouTube right now, from Wilson Dittman Sports, Mr. Wilson Dittman. Thank you for joining us today, young man.
Pleasure. I'm really excited to talk Husker. It's officially game week, so a lot to get into.
Yes, by the time this comes out tomorrow, it'll be Monday. We will be less than a week out. We're already less than a week out. And, I mean, we had college football kickoff yesterday already. I mean, we got to see Florida State, Georgia Tech in Dublin. The game turned out the way I actually thought it would. I called that upset. I thought Georgia Tech could pull it off. Then you had SMU and Nevada having a great game. You also had Hawaii pulling away late. That was a really late game, by the way. And then there was one more, Montana State and New Mexico. And Montana State pulls it
That game
off.
was windy.
It was a hell of a game. It was. I loved having college football back. It was great to watch. All the games were great. No blowouts. The drama was high. And, I mean, the Florida State-Georgia Tech game, no turnovers by either team. That's just a astounding stat to me in the first game of the season. Mm-hmm. So week 0 is under our belt. Give a quick plug here real quick, as we're going to do every week leading up to the event. We have got the inaugural 426 Charity Golf Scramble, and that's going on at Woodland Hills Golf Course in Eagle, Nebraska. That's going to be Saturday, October 12th, so it's the bye week. No reason to miss it. It's going to be $125 per person for 4-person team. So $500 got to be paid up front. Can't just pay one person at a time. If you'd like to sponsor a hole, that's $250. You get your logo put at the tee, at the pin. There's going to be raffles, prizes, on-course games, silent auction. There's going to be food. There's going to be drinks. It's going to be a great time, and it's all for charity for the folks that were involved in that horrible storm back on April 26th that ripped through Nebraska and Iowa. That is where all the proceeds are going. So as you see there, you can register online at genredpod.com. Ken, I'm so happy I got it right this time. Man, I told you I'd get there, and I'm glad you sent me that new little graphic there to put at the bottom so now everybody can see where to go register. So please, go register, everybody. There will be, hopefully, former players, former coaches involved, current players, coaches involved. This should be a huge event. We're looking forward to it. Please go get registered right there at genredpod.com. All right, so we got that out the way. Let's roll right into it. You did a video on it already, Wilson, and it's been the buzz of Husker Nation ever since the news dropped. Raiola, and it was no surprise. Raiola named the starter. I mean, it's like the worst kept secret in Nebraska ever since he committed. So, what's your thoughts? What are you looking from this young man from the get-go against UTEP?
Yeah, I mean, that decision was a no-brainer. We've known that was going to be the case since he committed in late December. Of course, Matt Rule said time and time again he was trying to give Danny Kaelin a fair shot. He was trying to give Heinrich Haarberg a fair shot. But when it comes to just being the most talented quarterback on the roster, Dylan Raiola blows every single one of them out of the water. Now, I've tried to hamper some people's expectations for Raiola. He's a true freshman. He's going to make some mistakes. There's going to be a game perhaps where he throws a pick or two. Maybe, in a close game situation, we end up losing because of it, right? That's going to happen because he's a freshman. He's still learning the speed of the game and how to play against Big Ten defenses. Now, with that being said, he's going to be a darn good quarterback for Nebraska. We've not had a great track record the last 8 years of good quarterback play. He's going to be better than Casey Thompson, Adrian Martinez, Tanner Lee, for sure. You'd have to go back to guys like Taylor Martinez, Tommy Armstrong for him to basically be compared against. So I really feel good about Dylan Raiola and what he's going to bring to the table. I feel great that we played UTEP game 1. It's the first time we played a non-Power 5 team to start off our season since 2019. So we kind of get a little bit of a layup for Dylan Raiola to really get used to, again, the feel of the game, playing in front of Memorial Stadium. And then, of course, week 2. We don't want to look ahead, but the Colorado Buffaloes come to town, and that's going to be a heck of a showdown for Raiola and Matt Rule.
Yeah, you can't worry about looking ahead. We've already done it.
Buffaloes.
Yeah, they're the Buffaloes here, or the See You Next Tuesdays. I like the See You Next Tuesdays. As I said, you can't spell the C-bomb without CU, so just saying. Matt, Wilson touched on it there. I mean, it was no secret that this was going to happen as soon as he signed. But, I mean, it sounds like, as you said, Wilson, Kalen, not such a great spring, not such a great fall so far, and Harburg's been named number 2 from what I'm hearing. So, Matt, is that surprising to have Harburg named as number 2 in there?
No, this is exactly what I was saying all along. It's Kalen, bring him along slow, probably going to redshirt. So, I mean, hopefully he can get in 4 games this year. So
yeah, it would be nice to see maybe some mop-up duty. Let him get in there, get some experience, get some snaps in a true in-game situation.
I'd like to see him Northern Iowa game.
That would be great.
So, take over in the fourth quarter or something like that.
Even if UTEP happens to get out of control, which I actually do expect UTEP to give us a heck of a game for a little while. I mean, it may not be no blowout or anything. UTEP, I know they've got a new coaching staff, things like that. So we really don't know what to expect from them. But as we've seen, especially the past 5-6 seasons, we cannot take anybody lightly. Period.
Exactly.
So that being said, Kenny, Raiola named the starter and not being able to take anybody lightly, you think that's going to put a little chip on the young man's shoulder and show Husker Nation exactly what we got? Oh, boy.
I don't know, honestly. I think he already came in with a chip on his shoulder. I think we threw everything we could at him as a program to get him. So it's just a matter of if he's coming in with a little bit of humility. You know what I mean? So pretty much everyone knew. It's no secret. It's no big deal to me that he was going to be the starter. I knew it was going to happen. Everyone on this panel knew it was going to happen. If it didn't happen, I personally think there was going to be turmoil in the locker room.
Yeah.
I personally do. You knew it. So hopefully he just plays well, man. So my expectations are for him to just perform, to minimize turnovers, minimize mistakes. You can't expect someone coming in. Well, let me flip that. With today's landscape of youth sports, these kids are coming in way more advanced than we were. Because now if you look at youth sports, I remember our time, Matt and Bryan, when football was one season and that was it. It was during college and NFL and that was it.
Yep.
Passing league and all these travel teams and all these 7-on-7s, that was in existence.
Yep.
So these kids are getting more reps. It's almost where they were talking about the specialization of them playing. So that's why you're seeing so many true freshmen, regardless of the new rule, they can play those certain amount of games and then be put into a red shirt playing right away. Generally, you had to be a special talent or they were thin at some position and they thought you can help with the depth. But I just want to see him play well. I mean, in first game, we'll kind of show what he can do. As far as the backup positions that you guys were talking about, you guys know I don't follow camp that much. I don't. I want to.
Yeah, Kenny's definitely not following recruiting. That's for damn sure.
I don't want to.
Well, Kenny, I got one question to you though. Like, how intimidating does it have to be for Dylan? Like every time he looks up, he sees his dad's name, like right there.
It's in the stadium.
That's a double-edged sword, honestly.
Yeah.
It has to be intimidating to see your dad. But then what cachet does your dad have around there to the program where people feel like if he's not being done right, and this is Dominic Raiola's son who's up in the Nebraska Hall of Fame, that we can pull him and snatch him. I'm a realist. I knew that played a big part in the recruiting of him.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it depends on his heart and his makeup. For me personally, how can you take that as a person and what he's built and how he's been raised as far as the aspect. If he sees it and he's just like, oh, that's just my dad. If he just sees him as his pops and he's not looking at him as someone I have to live up to that expectation. Most people will say when it's like a sibling or a parent that's done something great, regardless of what field it is, I want to be better than them. So if he has that attitude, he should be fine. He should be fine.
Yeah, I think if he's got any type of the mindset like his dad had, I think we're going to be all right, because his dad was a damn monster.
He seems massively mature for his age, too. So
he does.
Mm-hmm. It's something about
some things.
It's something I don't think people take, and Wilson, you're a lot younger. I don't think people really understand in any sport the advantage of having a parent that has played professional sports or at the highest level. The training, you're getting mentally prepared because one, you see it at a young age, and then you're around it at a very young age. So that's why he's as mature as he has. He's seen it. He's been around it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So not only his parents, his dad's friends, the teams. You get what I'm saying? So it's a huge advantage for him.
Yeah, you see it all the time. You see families like the Mannings, the Watts. It's just a lineage. It's crazy.
McGahee, who's here right now.
There you go as well.
So
it's crazy. Look, I'm totally looking forward to this season. I haven't been this excited in a while, probably since Frost's second or third year, just because, all that hype with him, everybody just expected it. Yeah, I expected it. I was on that hype train start to finish till the day he was canned. So it was what it was, but something is different in the air in Lincoln. The staff has this team believing. The staff believes in themselves. They believe what they're saying. You can see that in the press conferences. It's completely opposite, and I hate to already bring them up, but the Buffaloes, when Warren Sapp was giving his little press conference about their defensive line, the comments he made, you watch his face, this guy don't believe a single word he's saying. He knows they've got nothing. He doesn't even believe his own shit. It's crazy.
Yeah, so that's so true. And Warren Sapp, people forget, he was a legendary defensive D tackle. He's a great coach. He's been bouncing around the league, going to training camps every now and then, helping out defensive lines. That was a really good hire by Colorado. But yeah, I saw that interview. It was not looking good for Colorado. Again, that's really their weak point, is that offensive and defensive line. That's what killed them last year. Yeah, we know they've got a good wide receiver core. Yeah, they're probably going to have a good secondary. Of course, that's a coach team. But are you kidding me with that defensive line? That's going to get absolutely annihilated by Nebraska's trenches, a unit that's just getting better and better with Donnie Raiola.
Yeah, and they have gotten better and better. We've mentioned it on this show many, many times, looking at last season, the way that Raiola had to patch that line and just work with what he had, and they seem to actually get better by season's end. So I've got so much hope.
It helps to run an offense that favors what we have.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Frost, he wanted to go fast, tempo, everything like that. And
that's not
Rule wants to slow it down, power football. This is what this team's made for.
Rule knows football. That's all I care about. He understands what Big Ten football is about. He understands what Nebraska football is about. And I'm absolutely convinced the man's here for the long haul. I don't care what job opens up. Penn State would be the only one to worry about in my eyes. But frankly, keep doing what you're doing there, man. Keep getting some contract extensions. Stick around there for a while, because we need Rule. That's your job is the only one he would probably ever take off for. But everything I've heard him say, he wants to stick around for the long haul, and I believe every damn thing the man says. He has not lied to us yet. Everything he said he's going to do, he's done. Everything he wants to do, he's implementing. I think it's all just coming finally to fruition for Nebraska. It's about time we get back to where we belong, where we want to be. Just back on top, guys. Just always being in talk of being in contention. That's all I want. I'm sick and tired of turning on sports channels and watching for a half hour, an hour. We're not even brought up. It's still so foreign to me, because growing up my entire childhood, You couldn't turn on a sports channel or the news and watch sports without Nebraska being brought up about something in football. It didn't matter. So it's just, I believe in the staff. I believe in Rule. I believe in the players. I believe we've got the right pieces in the places we need. So I think it's just time. It's just our time.
You want to know one thing I love about Rule, though?
Everything?
It almost seems like he's doing like a national media tour.
Yeah.
He's like rebranding our program. Like Pelini never did this.
Oh, God,
I mean,
no.
he hated he didn't care for the media.
No. Yeah, hate's a strong word.
I mean, Scott Frost never got it going well enough to really, for the media to really like praise him.
No, there was too much bad going on
to talk about any good. Rule, you're right. He hasn't lied once.
No.
He won't do it. He's going to tell you exactly how it is. And I love that. It's that old school coaching mentality in my opinion.
Yeah, one thing, Matt Rule's just so honest. He said that the other day in a press conference. Like, he straight up said, I'm being transparent. I am concerned about the kicking. Quote for quote, said he was concerned about kicking. You don't hear that from head coaches. They'll dance around the question. Oh, I believe in everybody on the team. Oh, everybody's doing good things. He just straight up said, hey, I'm concerned about that room. That was really groundbreaking because we haven't seen that from past Nebraska coaches. But, like you guys were saying, something I've talked about before. Matt Rule's kind of like a politician, right? He's kind of rebranding Nebraska, trying to get the word out. He says all the right things, and that's great, but you got to win or else people are going to turn on you no matter what. And thankfully, I believe that we're going to get a lot of wins this year. We're going to really shock some people.
Yeah, that did surprise me with the kicking game. That was something we talked about in spring. We weren't too worried about it at that point from what we saw. And we didn't hear much going through fall camp until now. The one thing I'll say, though, is Justin Adams from the Voice of College Football said it on Twitter last night. He was talking about when Florida State's kicker nailed that 59-yarder at the end of the first half, which, wow, still had a few yards.
Was it 59 or 52?
It was 50. It was 59.
Okay.
Sick. So he put a stat out there saying the year prior, that kicker was kicking, I believe, under 50%. And then come back, I think it might have been 2 years ago, he was kicking 50% or something like that. Then his following year, he had boosted that up to like 70-some% or something like that. Now, Alvano had the same issues last year. He was sitting right around the same percentage as Florida State's kicker in his bad year. So, I don't know. I'm just going to be optimistic about it. I like the way Justin put it. It was a way to be positively optimistic about it. So, we'll have to wait and see on Alvano. But that does suck that Rule flat out came out and said that. Because, God, the kicking game is just something I wish we haven't had to worry about at all. That was another thing. In the heyday, you didn't worry about it. I'm not going to
used to be kicker.
Alvano's injury. He has a groin injury. That's the last thing you want a kicker to have. That's a lingering injury, right? That's not going to go away overnight. That's even not going to go away after a week or two. That really will stick around for weeks on end, months on end. So that's pretty concerning. And Matt Rule said, yeah, he's about 90% of the way there, but there's a big difference between 90% and 100%. So, if he's healthy, it'll probably be Alvano. If not, John Hull will be next up. But it should be a concern because the whole narrative this offseason has been chasing 3 points. How can we win those close games? You can't win close games if you don't have a solid kicker. We've seen that. We've done this song and dance before in the Scott Frost era. So, Matt Rule understands the importance of special teams. He's concerned about it. We've got to go address it, and hopefully it doesn't come up on game week.
Now, let me ask
if you know anything about our show, Wilson, we have pretty fun little debates about kickers.
Kenny just does not have patience for kickers.
It's a topic that whenever it gets brought up, Kenny goes off a little bit.
Let me ask you something about that real quick, Wilson. With Rule talking about the kicking game, did he bring up anything about Buschini? Has he brought anything up about our punting game? Because that was not up to par last year, period.
Yeah, he did mention Buschini, and he said basically that he felt good about Buschini's veteran presence as his third year. He really didn't have anything bad to say about Buschini, and some of that's a little bit of coach speak. That's expected, right? He's not going to go on and blast his punter,
Not going to throw him under the bus.
But, at the same time, yeah, that's another concern. I really am concerned about Brian Buschini because he played horrific last year. He was a top 10 worst punter in all of college football. Yeah, he was great in 2022 2022. But, man, the fall off was incredible last year. The special teams were in for a rough year if things don't turn around.
Yeah, I do like the kid, though. I mean, how unselfish he was, giving up his number.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
I mean, great character, in my opinion.
And
what number was he?
Like 13 or something like that. Or he moved to 13.
Who'd he give it
something
up
like that. So there's
who he gave his number
a defensive guy, an offensive guy, and then him that all had the same number or something like that. And he said, "Yep, it's just a number. I don't care."
Wasn't it Malachi? Malachi took 15, and Raiola got his 15, or was it 11?
I'm pretty sure Raiola got 15, and Malachi moved to 88 or 89, I believe.
I thought he was still in the lower team.
Like Malachi's at 11 now.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was 13 or 11. There we go. Thank you.
Monday was a long time ago, so
it really is. Yeah, the topics we're already talking about here. This is already 2-3 day old stuff. I mean, it's so hard as a podcast to get. Wilson, this is why you doing them every day, for one, blows my mind because they're great videos, they're great insight. You've got great recruiting knowledge. You keep your ear to the floor and hand on the pulse. I love what you do. So it's crazy and hard to try and keep up with all of Husker news, period. How do you do it, Wilson?
Just a lot of hard work. It was a little easier in the summertime when I didn't have school, didn't have classes. Basically just treat it like a job. Like, okay, I'm going to go record videos, for 2 or 3 hours today, get the thumbnails done, get the notes done. But now with college starting up, going to be a little bit harder to manage that time, but we're still going to be cranking out stuff every single day. Don't worry about it. But it's been a grind, but a lot of fun. And I'll tell you what, the Husker community, specifically on YouTube, is special. And that really keeps me going forward.
Yeah, you've got, oh my God, I think you're hovering either just over or just over 5,000 or just under 6,000.
5,500 right now.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
That's just like Justin over at Wilson College Football. He's a little over 5,000.
I was talking to Justin the other day. I'm about to pass him. I feel a little bad. That's my boy.
Oh!
I love Justin. I mean, that is my guy. But I think I might pass him this week. I hope not. I hope we're both gonna do really good this year, and we have a lot of content planned between me and him.
Awesome. I can't wait to see that because, Justin's an awesome dude, extremely knowledgeable as well, loves Husker football, can honestly relate to Kenny living out in Arizona. So that was kind of nice to have him on. They could talk about their Arizona woes and the weather and all that. So, it was pretty nice. Justin's an awesome dude. Yeah, I can't wait. Man, if you guys are going to do more content together, I can't wait to see that. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, Justin's a great guy, great football mind as well, and he's
two great football minds. Two great football minds coming together. I love it. All right, before we get into the next topic real quick, just wanted a quick recap here of the schedule. I mean, everybody knows it by now. Everybody's seen it. If you don't have it, for God's sake, what the hell are you doing? But there we go. I mean, we open with UTEP this next Saturday. God, it's so great to say that. And looking at that schedule, Wilson, I asked Matt and Kenny the same question, and I think Kenny was the only one out of us three that didn't go with it. Are we going to be bowl eligible after 6 games?
I think we will be. Now, I thought you were going to ask me if we were going to start off 7-0. I think we're going to absolutely drop one of these games because that's Nebraska football, right? You can't start off 7-0. You got to lose. That's what I feel. You're not supposed to lose. Or you're not supposed to win. So if I were to make a prediction on who we lose to, it'd either be, unfortunately, Rutgers or that Colorado game. And I'm concerned. I'm a little bit concerned given what they did to us last year. They do have talent. You can't deny that. But, I think we're going to be 6-1 at the end of this stretch. At worst, 5-2. But that last stretch, I mean, that final 5 games, that could be rough for the Huskers. I could see 5-2. I could see 6-1. I just can't see 7-0 because that's not Nebraska football. We're going to lose a game we're not supposed to lose. That's just what happens the last couple of years, and I have to see to believe it, and I'm going to choose not to believe it so far.
It's hard to completely jump on the hype train as a fan. It's just so hard when you hear so many good things. You see the recruits, you see the transfers, you see the coaches, you see the Chasing 3 episodes. Holy hell. Not to mention, I think it's Black Shirt Media or Mafia put out a video the other day for Thunderstruck. And man, what a exquisite video, my man. It was great. The narration was amazing. I mean, when somebody said it best on Twitter, when you could still have goosebumps talking about the losing seasons, you've done something special. You've absolutely
Wait a minute. What the hell you mean you had goosebumps talking about a losing season?
It was just the way it was, just the music in the background, the hype clips, the narration. It put it together. It's hard to do, Kenny. It's very hard to do.
I almost vomited my vomit when you said that, man.
The losing seasons, they got to come to an end. I mean, I'm never going to stop watching. But
hey,
the
I thank God I'm not in the 12-step program because these guys are having me sauced up. Come on, man.
All right, we found something else that can trigger Kenny. I thought it was only ever going to be kickers. I really did.
Hey, you guys spent about 2 minutes too long on those kickers a few minutes ago. My blood was boiling over here. You got a problem,
and that's why I brought it up.
Problem in the kicker room. How the hell you have a problem in the kicker room, dude? You get nice juices and fresh water. You get it.
They
cold.
do. They don't have to do anything in practice really either, but kick the damn ball. I mean, I do have to agree with Kenny on that. I know what kickers do in practice.
If I was a kicker, I would have been the sexiest kicker ever. I would have always had muscles. You got to chill, so my workouts would have been efficient. I would have lifted massive weights. I would have been the dude. Kickers. Oh, my God.
This is why we've got Kenny, Wilson. This is why we've got Kenny, man.
It's entertaining when we talk about kickers.
He's not the best color commentator in podcasting for nothing, folks. Oh, my God.
Kickers.
I love it.
Kickers.
All right. Okay, I suppose we'll move on to, of course, the other pressing topic, I suppose, that everybody was, in my opinion, it was kind of split down the middle between Husker Nation on this, and that was Rule saying no alternates this year. I'm kind of okay with it. Either way, I wouldn't have cared. I really wouldn't have. Nebraska's always been traditional. I get that. But, and in my opinion, and Kenny, I'm finally going to say it, Adidas has dropped the ball over the years with these alternates. They really have. In my opinion, the only two cool ones I've seen so far was that iced out one we wore away against Northwestern, and then the all black they tried for the black shirts. Now, Wilson, what do you think? It has been kind of split down the middle with Husker Nation. I know Ken over at Gen Red, completely for not having alternates, traditionalist. But you get the younger crowd, they're like, why not?
Yeah, I mean, the big talking point is always, I just want to win. That's what people say. I only want to win. I don't care what we're wearing. And that's true. And that's the most important thing, obviously. But I think it's also important that we do wear some alternates, that we expand our brand. And I'm coming at it from the younger generation standpoint, where a lot of times what Nebraska does, the program, they try to gear it toward the older generation, the guys who saw winning football in the past, even the older crowd. And that's great. But those guys aren't going to be in the stands in 50, 60 years. A lot of these college football programs nowadays are gearing their marketing towards the younger generation. You got to continue to do that if you're in Nebraska. Make an alternate, make it, as the kids say, have some drip, right? And that's big for recruiting, right? I mean, you see that on these recruiting visits. A lot of these guys, they put on the uniform they think is the most clean, and they really take that into account. A lot of people commented in my video about it, and they said, if a recruit cares about a uniform, they shouldn't come to Nebraska. That's stupid. We need any advantage that we can possibly get in recruiting, because we need to go back to where we were as a program, 20, 30 years ago. So why not? Why not roll out an alternate? Now, yeah, Adidas has not had a good history of bringing out Nebraska alts in the past. Last year's was horrendous. They put a stripe on it and called it good. The year before that was not good as well. No. And like you said, the only ones I've ever really thought have been solid, I thought the one we wore against Buffalo, I want to say it was 2021 with the NU on the helmet.
Oh, that was a good one.
Of course, the all white versus Northwestern about a decade ago at this point was good. But my big thing is, why can't we wear the white on white or the red on red? Like, I'm not a big red on red guy, but you see the recruits wearing that. You see the kids wanting to get that going for Nebraska. Like, one game, why can't we wear the white on white? Would it hurt anything? And people will say, the surrender whites, they're cursed. We haven't made a bowl game in 8 years. We're cursing every uniform. Who cares? Who cares? Let's have fun.
I like that. Yeah, we ain't made a bowl game in 8 years, guys. Who gives a shit what colors, what we're wearing as far as the uniform? Give the guys something, for God's sake.
Yeah,
Right.
I could care less about alternates.
Okay.
I'm a traditionalist too. I own one of the alternates, but I could care less. Just like Penn State doing the whiteout.
Yeah.
Like, dude, we're the sea of red. Like, we red out our stadium every week.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, so everyone's like, Penn State, they're the first one to do a whiteout. And it's like, what are you talking about?
You never seen a
Have
red
you
out?
been to a Husker game? Even the new NCAA college football game, they have way too much white in our stands. It's like somebody at EA, they've never been to a Husker game.
Yeah, I noticed that
you're
as
insane
well.
to think there's that much white. No, it's just what we do. This is what we've been doing since what, the 60s? Like,
Yeah.
just come on. Somebody from EA, get your head out of your ass. There's not that
Kenny,
much white. There isn't. It pisses me off.
Now, Kenny, you come from the era when alternates weren't even a thing. Like, Oregon didn't even have alternates.
Right.
I don't believe even were we even sponsored by Adidas by the time you graduated?
Yeah, we got him my second year, 95.
Okay.
First year
So we moved
wore
away
the
from Apex.
and Converse. We had Apex and Converse on.
Damn, you guys had Converse?
So yeah,
Oh
heavy
God.
Converse. So yeah.
Yeah, but that was like one of the biggest like athletic clothing companies
Then.
I think we were the
Magic
first.
wore and
Yeah.
Guys, we're showing our age saying that.
I think we were the first with Adidas in football.
Okay.
I think that's why it was such a big deal. So then that next year we had the Keyshawn Johnson shoes. They were horrible. But anywho, going back to what Wilson said, you can put this on your page. They need to understand that we're in a new age and there are kids who literally, I mean, hear me clearly, that go to schools because of the colors. There are kids who go to schools because of the uniforms. Now, there's a group of like Matt. It makes no here or there for me if they wear alternative uniforms, but I do like when they wear them. But your subscribers need to understand there are people, and the people in the comments, there are kids who literally choose a school. My buddy chose Tennessee because they had a checkered end zone.
Wow. Wow.
End up being an All-American,
kids.
end up being the 20-something pick in the draft before Randy Moss. My childhood friend, Terry Fair. He chose Tennessee because they had a checkered end zone. Cosmetic things matter. When he came back to school and said, Ken, I'm going to Tennessee. I said, why? He said, bro, they have a checkered end zone. People need to understand that. Nebraska's tradition, and there are certain things that are so eye-catching. You think everyone wants to go to Oregon, up to Eugene?
No.
Or do they think it's the amenities and all of the things that Nike has to offer them?
Yeah, it is.
well, and the money now too, because Phil Knight, he's
we
pulling
put that
out
stuff
all
into
the
it. But
stops.
do you think they sit back and say, man, they have about 50 uniforms and I can look clean out here playing?
Yeah.
It
And
makes
Oregon's
a
even
difference.
had misses.
Yeah, it makes a difference. So with that being said, I can see the all red. I would like those.
Yes.
With either the white helmet or the old red helmet.
Let's go with the old red helmet.
I can see the all white with the red helmet or the white helmet, the traditional. I mean, I can see something with the black or red pants, black top, red helmet. You can get those basic colors, those color patterns, and twist it up. And as we say, freak it any way you want to look nice. Because this is about accessories. Like you guys say, they come on recruiting trips. They're looking at that. They're the drip. They want to look a certain way.
Yes.
Michigan has the drip. They can go with the maize. They can go with the blue. They can go with the white. They can go Ohio State. All these teams can switch it up.
And they've got basic
Jordan.
colors.
Mm-hmm.
And
some
Jordan.
of us, and the Jordan, of course. But some of us want to stay so basic that kids, unfortunately, look at that and say no. But as far as it being a big deal to me, no. Switch up the colors you have, change the game on it as far as that aspect of it. Go all red. Like I said, the all red is nice. I think that's a sweet.
That.
I think
with
that's
the black cleats.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So
I like what Wilson brought up with the red helmet too. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if in my lifetime I've seen the all red like that. Have we, Matt, in our lifetime?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Maybe one of the alternates against Wisconsin.
Oh crap! No, those were. Oh, I feel like a horrible fan right now. Were they black or red?
I don't recall. I was going to say, like, I don't ever recall us wearing like an all red helmet.
Neither do I.
But I think one year though against Wisconsin, and those I thought they were
those
hideous.
were horrific with the big W
with,
and
like
the big
silver
N.
letters or the silver numbers, and
yeah, it was
like
horrible.
the announcers had a hard time even like reading the numbers.
Fun fact: that was the last time we beat Wisconsin. Maybe we should bring those back, just to see if we can get them and get a W.
He's got a point. He's got a point.
Though, I looked into the future of Nebraska football. We played Tennessee in 27.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
I think they'll probably get out of that game by that time. They pushed it back 10 years. We were originally supposed to schedule them. What?
I remember that.
They'll get out of it. I guarantee it. I mean, they're. I think the SEC is probably going to move from 4 non-counts to 3, anyways. Though Tennessee's going to duck us.
But yeah, it'll be good, man. I just think it's awesome to do different things. Like I said, if you don't want to wear alternate with different colors, wear what you have, mix it up.
Yeah,
and go from there. So, but even if not, traditional stuff is cool. There's nothing wrong with being traditional.
And I am sort of the traditionalist, but I do like alternates because, look, I get it. Win before you want to look good. Yeah, I get that, but you can't do that without them before you have them. You just can't. So it's I like alternates. I just wish we would have had more that hit the mark over the years. Mm-hmm. So it's, for me, I don't care. That's probably why I don't care either way. We've had so many misses on the alternates that we've only had maybe 2 or 3 that have hit the bullseye. I'm okay. If they take a year off from doing it and come up with a great concept or look for next year, awesome.
Right.
And especially
the black shirts jersey.
I'm telling you. I've been clamoring for it forever. I've been clamoring for it forever. Yeah, I want all black. And I mean literally all black. I'm talking like what Florida State does once a year. All black. And then you take that damn N off the side of the helmet for one game, and you throw that black shirt logo on there. Now, I know Rob Zadiska said, offensive guys would throw a fit, blow a gasket. They would never wear it. I get it. So maybe compromise. An N on one side, black shirt on the other. How about a compromise?
With the black helmet?
Yes.
That'd be sweet. That would be
really
cool. And on one side and the black shirts on the other. That
in an all black uniform.
All black.
Brian, I think you need to go work for Adidas.
Dude. I'm too old. I ain't got my pulse on anything for this younger generation. If anything, might need to do that for Wilson here. Bringing up the red helmet and everything. I mean, I'm saying, dude, he's young enough. He knows what people want to see. He'd be more qualified for it than my ass. That's for damn sure.
That is for damn good.
It's a given. Not to mention he could give them years of service. I'll give you 10 if you're lucky. All right, so let's move on from that one. And of course, having Wilson and Matt on here, both being the recruiting minds that you are. Wilson, you had a flip video come out. I believe that was just yesterday or the day before. Let's talk about it, my man. We got the young man to flip from Oregon. Who else we got coming?
Yeah, I really think it all comes down to if we win football games this year. And a lot of people, they comment on my videos, and I'll talk about David Sanders, I'll talk about Michael Terry, and they'll say, yeah, Wilson, it's great that we got him on campus, but it doesn't matter if we don't land them. That's not the case in recruiting, right? Moral victories are a thing, specifically when you go back to the fact that Nebraska hasn't won football games, under Matt Rule so far. Okay, right now he's selling everybody on a vision. I'm going to bring Nebraska back. I'm going to do this. In a couple months when we win 8-9 games, supposedly, he'll be able to say, I did do that. Yeah, a couple flips might be coming. Now, again, Dawson Merritt's a guy that we talked about all summer long. It's potentially being a Nebraska commit. Obviously, went over to Alabama, but he could be back in play if you end up winning football games, and perhaps Alabama's a tough year with Kalen DeBoer. Michael Terry's another guy who's going to be coming on campus for that Colorado game. I mean, I've talked to him. I've talked to his parents a little bit, and again, they're trying to get a feel on Nebraska and Texas as a program. Again, he's a guy who could be back in the mix if you win games. S.J. Alfetuli, people forget that Nebraska was the betting favorite to land him from May to June. Another guy that Nebraska was willing to offer a lot of money in NIL funding. And, Miami's overrated every year. Who says Miami doesn't, only win like 6, maybe even 7 games this year? Nebraska wins 8. So there's flips coming. I'm not necessarily going to sit here and predict which one flips, but Matt Rule's working tirelessly. He flipped Dylan Ryle last class. He flipped Isaiah Mosey last class. If you win football game this year, the boosters are going to get back into it. Money's going to be flowing through the 1890 collective. Yeah, Dawson Merritt, we're going to have another conversation about him. We might have to have a conversation about David Sanders. That's a long shot, but he'll be back in the mix. Again, there's a lot of time between now and sign day. So my main point is you want to flip these guys, win football games. It cures everything. The boosters will start to get going as well.
I like what you tweeted about David Sanders right after he committed Wilson. He said signing day is not till December. Or I believe it was December or January. And he's like plenty of time. Plenty of time.
I think Sanders, he's going to be a tough pull because with him, it's really not about money. It's Tennessee's close to home. He wants his family to watch him and stuff. I heard a rumor that Ohio State actually offered him more money to play there than at Tennessee. So money is not the overwhelming favorite for him.
I do think it's a big selling point because Tennessee has probably a top 5, top 10 NIL collective in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, do you guys remember Douglas Utu was another 5-star tackle that visited Nebraska? He committed to Tennessee last second. Nobody saw that coming because they came in with a big NIL package and said, "Hey, sign this and you'll be a Vol." So they have a great collective. They've stole guys from Nebraska in the past. You might be right that it wasn't the number one thing. It was absolutely probably his top 3 thing. But the fact that he's only about 3 hours away from home. His mom, who was big in this decision, loved Tennessee. She also loved Nebraska. But you're right there. But I do think NIL had to play.
Young men listen to their mom. I don't care what anyone says. If mom likes a certain college, that could end up where you're going.
What I'm excited about the most, though, is the Colorado game. Like, if Rule, he's got all these, he's got some serious 26 recruits. And then Michael Terry, that's like the cherry on top. We really haven't had a huge recruiting weekend like this under the lights.
And
win a big game?
Michigan 2021. We got a lot of recruits there for that one. Of course, we didn't win it.
Yeah.
And there's another guy who's coming to campus for that game, Jordan Campbell, who's a Miami commit right now, top 100 linebacker in the country. Yep. That's another guy who could be on Flip Watch. He has a couple connections with guys like Larry Tarr, Amari Sanders, some other Miami kids. So, it's going to be an absolutely ridiculous recruiting weekend. That's the biggest pull. You can bring these guys in for summer visits, and that's all fine, but when you go to Memorial Stadium for a night game with 90,000, they're going to be loud. It's going to be full of hatred and trash talk. Yeah, that's going to switch some people's minds.
And a rivalry game.
Michael Terry watch for that.
And that new little light show they do going from the third to fourth quarter.
And Wilson hit it right on the head. The amount of hatred that's going to be in that stadium that night. Oh, my God.
It's going to be unbelievable.
They're talking like possibly pushing like 92,000 fans.
Good. And it's going to be even louder than 2014 Miami, guaranteed.
Oh, for sure. And that Miami, I don't believe that was a night game, was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and it was the loudest game they've recorded in Memorial Stadium. That crowd did not stop.
The largest crowd ever, too.
Oh, God. And then you got Primetime complaining. He's now banned certain reporters from the Denver Post because they criticized him. You talk soft, dude.
That's a weakness, in my opinion.
Yeah. He didn't get bigger criticism than that through his playing days. Come on.
He's such a clown. Dude, if you're going to be a head coach of a Power 5 school, Power 4 now, have some fucking thick skin. Come on, dude. You played college football. You played two professional sports at the same time. Like, is this the first time you ever got criticized? You're a fucking douchebag, in my opinion. It's just. That's why I said it the other week that I don't see any way humanly possible they come into Lincoln under the lights and beat us.
I
way.
I don't either. But that's me.
I got to play devil's advocate.
That's good. Good. That's why we need people like you, Wilson. Do it.
We can't ignore it. With the game last year, I mean, they're talented. I think, talking with a couple Colorado guys, a lot of them, are toxic, right? They don't like us, but, a couple guys I know who go to Boulder, they're rare but nice Colorado fans. They'll tell me
that's very rare.
They did get a little better in the trenches. They did get a little better at the skill position. So they're a talented team. I try to tell people that they might not be deep. I don't think they're deep, and I don't think they have a good culture at all. But there is talent, and they beat us last year. And you know one thing, Deion Sanders is going to get them ready to go. That pregame speech is going to move mountains. I mean, he's going to fuel off that hatred. Like, it's going to be ridiculous. They want to hear the boos. They want to hear the crowd get loud. So that's one thing about Deion that we cannot deny, is that he's going to get them ready to go. He's going to get them ready to play. I'm concerned because I'm worried, and we haven't beat them. The last 3 times we played them, we lost, and we lost to them in Lincoln in 2018. So I do think there's a scenario where we lose. I think we do win. I think it's going to be a little bit of a battle. It's going to be a dogfight, as you'd expect from a rivalry game. But man, I'm a little bit concerned.
Okay.
I just push them around. Just push them around. Use our offensive line. Use our depth on the defensive line.
That's one battle. Like our defensive line against their O line. Oh my goodness, we're gonna get to Shador. Double
how many times did we sack Sanders last year?
Bring him down
8 times,
7 or 8 at least.
I think it was 8,
and we lost the game. So
we lost.
And judging by the way, I did read a couple articles on the Colorado team and everything, and Prime. And the way that this guy wrote it was they didn't really do much to fix that O-line. They patched it. They didn't recruit for it. They went to the transfer portal again.
Because Deion doesn't recruit.
Do you believe that guy's not made a single in-home visit since he's been there?
You have good football, high school football in Colorado.
You do.
And he's not recruiting his own state. But hey, Deion, thank you. We'll take all your best players. We did. I mean, we got the number 1 player in Colorado this year. We're already recruiting the number 1 player in Colorado for next year. So thanks, Deion. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And speaking of that recruiting weekend for that game, I mean, Wilson, what do you think the chances are with Terry making just maybe a commitment after that game, if it's crazy enough?
I don't think he'll commit after that game. I talked to him probably 2 weeks ago at this point, and he said he was taking it slow. He's just focused on his high school football season. I, at this point, probably expect a late fall commitment from him, October, November. He's going to take a visit to Texas as well. Probably We'll see if he goes to Oregon again. I don't think he's probably going to be wowed by what we're going to do against Colorado, but he'll probably push it off a little bit until October. But I like our odds as the days progress, as this recruiting process gets longer. I think we are really shooting up the ranks. I really thought he was going to commit to Texas about a week or 2 ago. Didn't happen. That's a good thing for Nebraska.
Yeah, I will say that your predictions, you do a great job on keeping it just open enough that you're not saying, hey, this is a damn lock, or there's no way this guy's coming here. You always keep it perfectly wide open on each end, that whichever way it goes, you're more than prepared to give your opinion on which either way he decided to go. So I got to give you credit, Wilson. Your channel, man, amazing job. You do a great job on your research. You got great knowledge on recruiting. Man, is there any other big time recruit? Because I don't want you to give us anything that you may have for a video coming up, but anything as far as recruiting we maybe haven't heard about that you have heard rumblings about at all?
Yeah.
Again, don't give anything away for a future video.
Yeah, I'll watch what I say. But again, Jordan Campbell's a very interesting case, the Miami commit. I think Nebraska has a real chance to flip him. Again, that guy's, we talk about how good Vincent Shavers is. Jordan Campbell is probably a better high school prospect than him. So I feel really good about him coming on campus versus Colorado. That's a guy we're going to have to start talking about a lot. And then Christian Jones, Nebraska's been pushing for him to visit against Colorado for a long time now. Again, Miami's in the mix there. Wisconsin's in the mix there. Of course, Oklahoma as well.
Oklahoma.
Yep. So that's going to be a big process at a position of need. I mean, that linebacker room is a position of need because we are going to lose a lot of guys who graduate at the end of this year, like Buda Wright, like Stephon Thompson, like John Bullock, even MJ Sherman at that jack position. So they need to start recruiting linebacker a little bit better. Those are the two guys I'd watch out for. But yeah, recruiting slowing down just a little bit. It's mainly now on the 2026 class, getting those guys for game day visits. And the guy that I'm going to be watching out for is Isaac Jensen. That's the number one player in Nebraska. Plays tight end, went to my high school at Millard South. Really nice guy, but as of right now, I don't think the Huskers are the favorite to land him. I won't say anything more, but we need to really impress him when he comes down for that Colorado game.
I wonder if that has anything to do with having Carter Nelson here now and all that. We're not hugely deep at the tight position, but we've got depth.
Oh, yeah, we are.
I think it has something to do with Chase Lofton not committing. They're both of them go to Millard South. I'll just say, if there's one school Nebraska wants to lock down for the next 5-10 years, it's Millard South. I mean, they're building a dynasty over there. They have a new head coach who came in from Arizona. He basically, it's like the transfer portal in Nebraska high school sports. So he took some of the best talent from the state and put them all in Millard South. Like, we think Westside's been good the last couple of years. If you follow high school football, Millard South's going to be the place to be. So, yeah.
All right, Coach Bill Bush, if you're watching or listening to this, you're going to need to get on the phone, hit up somebody on the staff, let them know. It's Millard South. We need to lock them down. Forget anything else right now. Just lock down that high school. It matters. Just close the damn borders. That's all. We never had this issue before.
Exactly.
It's
and
irritating.
With Christian Jones, that's why he's such a priority for Rule. You're the number one player in the state, or at least one of them. We can't let this kid get away.
And it's one thing to lock down the state. It's another thing to lock down Omaha. And I know some people, go back and forth with me on this, but Omaha has the best talent inside Nebraska. They're constantly pushing out the most 4-stars. You'll have guys who are borderline 5 stars. Torrey Pittman's a guy who's in the class of 2027, and 24/7 or 24/7 Sports just ranked him as I want to say like the 19th best player in Nebraska. He might be a 5-star. So, or in America. So, anyways, Omaha's locked down. And for some reason, Nebraska just has a disconnect in the Omaha Metro. And that's thanks to Scott Frost, that's thanks to Mike Riley, and that's thanks to a lot of burnt bridges with these high school head coaches. Matt Rule's fixing that. It's not done. It's a lot easier to get guys from Lincoln because they grew up Nebraska fans. They grew up, going to Husker games. A lot of these Omaha kids didn't actually grow up to be Nebraska fans for whatever reason, or they just don't have that close of a tight-knit connection with the program. So it's hard to get them, but Matt Rule's trying to build that back.
Yeah, and what I love to hear was high school saying, this is the most I've seen Nebraska in years. Coaches from Nebraska. I mean, no, I'm being serious. Like, that makes me extremely happy because, you got to get the best kids in your state. You have to.
Yeah, it's a slap in the face when they go somewhere else, personally. That's my opinion.
It's going to happen.
Who was the receiver we lost in Notre Dame?
That was Xavier Watts.
Oh, Xavier Watts, yeah.
There we go.
Who ended up being a defensive player, and he's one of the best defensive players in all of college football now.
Yeah, and that was like a slap in the face. And see, that's why
it's going to happen. We can't get them all.
That's why I've got great optimism, especially with somebody like Raiola. Going back to what we started talking with on the episode, you had people like Stafford calling this kid a stud. I mean, when you got Matthew Stafford,
it's his godson.
Well, still though, knowing how he can play and watching him play and progress as he's grown up. You got somebody at the caliber. I'm not saying Matthew Stafford is every year an all-pro NFL quarterback. I will never say that. I think he's a good quarterback, absolutely. You can't do what you do and win a Super Bowl without being a good quarterback, period. I'm not going to ever say he's one of the best to ever do it. Not a chance.
He's still a Hall of Famer, though.
I get it. It just, so is Boomer Esiason. What do you want me to tell you? Boomer didn't do a whole lot, man. I'm sorry.
Well played.
Yeah, old school on that one. I pulled out a name people probably ain't heard in a while.
It's like Gary Hogaboom or Steve Grogan.
There you go. We even have more examples.
Hey, that's my litmus test for any Patriots fan or the newfound Patriots fan. When I say, do you know who Steve Grogan is? And they're like, who is that? That tells me you've been a Patriots fan since they were winning.
Yeah. Patriots fan since 01.
Bang.
Got it.
Husker fan since 82. Don't give a damn.
82. It's in my blood. Never going to change.
I was going to say, Kenny, you weren't even a Husker fan when you got recruited, were you?
No. Miami, Florida State, Colorado.
Oh, you could have left that one out.
Colorado only because of the black uniforms, which goes back to uniforms. My mother will tell you that. She was like, he liked Colorado because of the all black uniforms. It wasn't anything else. The black uniforms with the gold helmet. That was like, oh, wow.
They were good. They were good then,
they were good back then.
Yeah. But it wasn't that. It was the all black uniforms with the gold helmet or the black helmet. That was like, that's crazy. So it plays a difference. That's why I said what I said earlier. It plays a big Oregon. I didn't like them because of the color of their uniforms. I was like, this yellow and this green, this is nasty.
You blend into the grass.
I was like, this is literally nasty. And like I said, you got to remember, one of my childhood friends was there, put him on the map, Kenny Wheaton.
Damn.
They called me religiously, even while at, but it plays a difference. So I knew of Nebraska. You know the teams, the Michigans, the teams, the big teams. I remember seeing them.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like, oh, Nebraska. I was like, oh, Nebraska's recruiting me. That's Coach Osborne, the guy they show on TV. Oh, okay. But, it was Florida State. It was Miami. It was flamboyant.
The big
football.
Lifestyle.
Yeah,
big lifestyle.
It was just the way they played. The mannerisms, the swagger. All of those.
Sad part is you would have fit in Miami, Kenny. I can guarantee you would have fit in, dude.
Listen, man.
Would you have stayed out of trouble, though?
No. So this is a true story. When I came to Nebraska, I used to wear headbands and scarves under my helmet.
Like nobody did that back then.
Coach Osborne was like, well, Kenny, because what other teams did that in college football?
Miami,
Florida
State. Yeah.
And then so I was like, oh, I am in a different world.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in a different world. That first year was rough because I'm coming from being a personality playing wise, like taking off my helmet, going nuts, trash talking, but in fun, nothing disrespectful. To, hey guys, we got to be. And I was like, oh, I am miserable here because this is crazy. I had a visor one year. I had a mirror, red visor.
They didn't let you wear it?
They cried about it.
What?
And this is when I was redshirting. I said,
oh, damn.
I was like, why are you guys, when they decided to redshirt me games into the season, why are you guys concerned with my visor? I had a red visor that was mirrored. Oh, man. I ran out to practice with that. The defensive players and the guys on the team were nuts. They was like, oh, my God, where did you get that at, bro? I got to get one.
No shit. Could you imagine that defense back then wearing those? All of them?
It was clean. It was clean. It was clean.
I think they were mean before.
I went from being wild and to being a nerd.
Yeah, you were very reserved.
It was disturbing. So nice. It was disturbing. But that goes into the offense.
It's a different standard.
Yeah, but that goes into the team. And this is why I tell this guys, and people never pay attention to this. That's why you guys and people as fans know the defensive players. They got to be themselves.
Yeah.
offensively, we couldn't be ourselves.
You couldn't be psychos.
You couldn't show your personality. Defensive players got to show their personality. You guys can probably name every black shirt.
Almost.
Because of their personalities that they were able to display. Do you think Christian Peters, if he wasn't able to display his personality, you guys would really know him that way? No. You get what I'm saying? And Sandman. And
he was a psychopath.
But you get what I'm saying? What did you guys say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Scoring the ball and running to the sideline. Oh, yeah. I just be like, oh, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. This is not fun.
Well, before we get ready to shut her down, Wilson, I mean, we might as well include you on this topic here. When did it ultimately become Nebraska's it? Nebraska's my team. I am a Husker fan. Nobody else.
Man, forever. I mean,
yes.
I never even considered any other team. I mean, growing up, I grew up in Omaha, went to almost every single game growing up. Like it was never about any other team for me. I always wanted to go to Lincoln growing up. Life had other plans, but that was always I never considered, like I never rooted for any team. I never had a second team or anything like that. Like I'll root for some teams on the side just for fun, but yeah, no, Nebraska, ride or die, bleed red. I mean, since
from birth,
I couldn't even tell you what age. I couldn't even tell you what age. I mean, I was the type of kid in first grade I would tell you every single player on the team. Like that was what I was.
Yes.
Yep.
That is exactly how I was too. I mean, it was funny. I'd go to school in like 5th and 6th grade, 93, 94, and I would be talking with my teacher during recess about Saturday's game. I don't give a damn about recess. Let's talk some Husker football, teach. I mean, it was awesome. My 6th grade teacher, Mr. Brocker, was awesome. The fact that I'm 42 and still remember that man's name shows the impact he had on my life. So, yeah, that's always the way I've been. My dad apparently named me after a player that was named Bryan on the Huskers when I was born. So, and thank God he did. My mom wanted to name me Quentin. No. I'm so happy my dad stepped in on that one. Thank God. Initials QK? No thanks. No. I like being called B by Kenny. I don't think Q would sound too good, in my opinion. I'm so thankful my dad changed that shit.
Come on, Bryan. Right. This is why we're friends. We're friends because of football.
I know. Dude, I've made so many friends because of football. It's just because here in Fremont, it's what we had, you know? If you were into football, you played flag football in 2nd and 3rd grade. You played JC football 4th, 5th, and 6th. Then you went right into junior high 7th and 8th. And back then it was 9th grade as well. And then high school was 10th, 11th, 12th. That's what it was. I met a lot of cool fucking people all through the years. Now, have I met some dickheads through the years? Oh, yeah. I've met some folks I just didn't even care to see again or talk to. But that was very
Colorado fans.
Oh, those are a given. Those are just a given. All right. As I've always said, I don't know if you've heard me say it, Wilson. I won't even step foot in that state. I don't belong there.
Yeah.
I think I said it last week. I'd probably burst into flames if I stepped foot in there. It's that much blasphemy for me to even think about. I had to drive through there one time from here to Vegas, and I passed this big old gold and black RV that on the back had a runner that said "Go Buffs." I sped my ass up in this pea green Cadillac and laid on the horn, pointed at my hat, gave him the bird, and just sped off. I had to stop for gas one time in that state, and I hated every second of it. So it's a deep, deep hatred on my end. And I'm a connoisseur of some certain things, and even that won't get me to go there. I would much rather just figure it out another way.
Yeah.
So, to hell with Colorado. To hell with Prime, who now looks like bedtime instead of prime time, looking like he aged 30 years. I mean, my God, that beard is out of control.
It's been white, man. He always dyes it.
He just needs to shave it, man. He looks a solid 25 years younger when it's shaved.
His daughter harasses him about it all the time.
Good. Somebody
hilarious.
needs to, man. That's not good.
Oh,
All
man.
right. I suppose we've come to the hour and 4-minute mark. I don't want to keep Wilson too much longer. He just got moved into college this weekend.
Nice.
He's
Congratulations.
got classes going on, man. He's got shit to do. The man's got stuff to do. Matt, it's a Sunday. I think you heading out to the farm today?
No, it's too hot, man.
Okay, good call. Good
I'm
call.
just gonna hang out at home with the boys and just I don't know. I don't
Good
know
idea.
what we're gonna do. I'll
same
cook
here.
something.
There you go. Yeah, you gotta have some food, man.
I
Kenny, what's your
cook every
plans for the
man.
Sunday?
Cook every Sunday.
I don't know, man. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Damn. I love Sundays. I love it, especially after a Husker win on Saturday, it makes Sunday so much better.
You're right about that.
I'm telling you this right now, guys. I think we're gonna have a lot better Sundays and episodes to record this year.
Good. It's been some long, hard, terrible years.
I believe we're gonna have some happy Sundays. You guys,
think we will.
You guys all know my prediction, and I'm not. I still haven't changed.
Yeah, me either. See you in Indy.
Oh,
I want to
God.
see us in Indy, and I don't care if it's a number 12 spot. Hit that 12 spot and get into the playoffs. I don't care. Or matter of
It'd be
fact,
cool.
get a little bit higher and host that first round playoff game December 20th in Lincoln. Let's do that. Oh, this place would come unglued. All right.
And I hope it's against a warm weather school.
Oh, it'd be even better. All right, I've rambled long enough. That's good enough. Wilson, let everybody know where they can find you, my man.
Yeah, just search up Wilson Dittman Sports on YouTube, on X or Twitter. I'm Wilson D Sports. And then if you're on Instagram, at Wilson Dittman, talking Nebraska football all the time on there. And absolutely, it'll be ramping up as the season progresses. But thanks for having me on to this podcast. It was a great time talking some Huskers. And, man, it's officially game week. I'm excited for that UTEP game.
Man, it was a blast to have you on, Wilson. I was glad I got a hold of you. Talked to Justin. He says you're a great dude to have on, very knowledgeable, and Justin was a great guest as well. So it was a no-brainer, especially watching videos, man. You know what you're talking about. So
Appreciate
absolutely. This was awesome. This was amazing. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and shut her down now. You know where to find the show by now. Find it at the Husker Army Podcast. Just Google us. It pops right up. You find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. There's plenty more audio-only platforms to find us on. You'll find our account right there, Husker Army Pod. You'll find us on Twitter, Instagram, not Facebook, though. Forget that. You'll find Kenny as well on Twitter at HuskerNoop1911. Also, just maybe search his name over on Instagram. You want to follow him there. And of course, our recruiting guru, Matt Sass, you'll find him as Herbie_Husker15. Find him on Twitter. He's always on there helping us out with the latest recruiting updates, letting us know the news. It's hard to do, too, especially when you got somebody like Wilson doing it damn near every damn day.
Yeah.
The ear
I
is
watch a lot of
firmly
your
to the ground.
videos. A lot of your videos.
Matt brought that up right before we started. He's like, I didn't realize who that was. He goes, I watch this guy's videos all the time. I'm like, well, there you go.
I don't pay attention to names.
Just watch the videos because they come up.
Yeah. So huge fan. Thank you for joining our show.
And everybody, I got to thank everybody really quick. All the subscribers and everything. We had a pretty significant growth the last 2-3 weeks. We were under 200 subs at that point, and we're already, I think, at 231. We want to keep climbing, guys. Let's get, like Ken from Gen Red says, let's get us to the 500. Start monetizing.
Yeah, make sure you hit that like button.
Yes, and that's what I keep forgetting. And Wilson, you're so good at it at the beginning of every single one of your videos. Like and subscribe, please.
Like and subscribe. That way we can be. That way we can be in the algorithm.
I got to start.
That probably should have. That comment probably should have been at the beginning of the video, but
I just said that too. I'm like, I've got to remember to start doing it at the beginning because watching Wilson's, he remembers it every single time. He gets you coming in with the topics he's got, then he hits you with that like and subscribe. That's what I'm saying.
Brain muscle memory, brother.
And I don't have it. I just have certain muscle memory. It's never attached to the brain, though. I can't help it. All right. So, guys, we told you where to find us. You know where to find Wilson. Definitely check out his YouTube channel. You won't be disappointed. over 5,000 subscribers can't be wrong. Seriously can't. If you like your Husker content and you like it daily, they're not even really long videos. So even if you got a short attention span, you can get through this. And he's going to tell you a lot in that little time. You're going to enjoy it. So go check out Wilson Dittman Sports on YouTube. Make sure to follow him on Twitter, Instagram. So you know where to find the show, everybody. You told you about the golf scramble. So I think there's only one more thing to do at this point. And Husker Army, you know what that is. At ease, you are all dismissed.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.